You know, one thing that every single one of us in this room has got in common is that we've all done some dumb stuff, haven't we? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've done something dumb in your life. You know, we've all done dumb stuff. Stuff that we wish that we could forget, stuff that we wish that we could take back, stuff that we hope nobody ever finds out about. The money, you know, we just came through the money season. People told me stories of dumb stuff that they did with money that they should have never spent that they did. You know, there's that angry text message or phone call that we should have never done or sent. People that we didn't intend to hurt. Dumb decisions that we shouldn't have made. Have you ever looked back and thought to yourself, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I should have known better. If you have, and we all have, welcome to the human race, okay? You know, it'd be hard to get through this life without making dumb decisions. In fact, it's really difficult to get through one day. I was reading some studies, and I didn't agree with it at first until I mulled it over this week. But one study showed that we make, on average, 35,000 decisions a day. Decisions like when we're going to wake up, when we're going to brush our teeth, are we going to floss today? Are we going to put on deodorant? I hope y'all did. Decisions like what are we going to eat? Are we going to take a lunch break? On and on and on. So I think the studies are probably right. You know, here's the thing though, but for 35,000 decisions a day, the odds that we're going to bat 1,000 on them, it's not likely. It's not going to happen. Sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it's not a big deal. Some bad decisions embarrass us maybe. And other times it feels like they can ruin you. Some bad decisions we can forget, but others we just never forget. Listen to this statement. Right now, our lives, up to this point, and this is a hard statement. Right now, our lives, up to this point, is a direct result of our choices and decisions. And that can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. That statement is packed. It's a lot of pressure in that statement. You know, maybe it's you here today. Maybe we just need to take a deep breath and let ourselves off the hook a little bit. Because that statement, maybe it's left you feeling a little apprehensive about making a decision or a choice. And when it comes to those decisions and choices that are directly in front of us, maybe you're a little afraid of moving forward, and so you don't know what to do. You're scared of making another wrong decision because you know the last one hurt you really bad. And so faced with choices in life, we got a lot of what ifs. What if I choose the wrong thing? What if I go to the wrong college or school? What if I choose the wrong friends? What if I choose the wrong job? If you can relate today, I believe that God is going to use the next month to speak into your life. Today we're going to start a series that we're calling Fear of Better Options. FOBO. Fear of Better Options. You think about it, man, we got so many options and choices in life, and we love the options that we have. But too many options can lead to this paralyzing fear of making the wrong decision in our lives. And as a result of that, we overthink or we overanalyze every single decision. And what happens is that just leads to greater worry and greater apprehension that we're not going to make the right choice. And so what happens is we get in our heads and stay in our heads over and over. We stay in indecision with all the options that are in front of us, and we don't know what to do. And we run different scenarios over and over in our heads, and we feel like we're stuck. So over the next 4 weeks, God's Word wants to give us the direction that we need to make a decision when you fear making the wrong decision. We're going to be in James chapter 1 today, so you can turn there and follow along on the screen. James chapter 1 verse 2 says, "Dear brothers and sisters, When troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity. Man, that can be tough. Troubles of every kind, they come every single day, don't they? When troubles of any kind come into my life, I try to do everything I can to avoid them. Think about it. That's why we go on vacation, to get away and to forget, to remove ourselves from life for a moment. When you got 5 kids, that's why you go on vacation every 3 months, okay? Some of y'all know. Troubles of every kind are going to come every day. But when troubles of every kind comes, James here wants us to see things differently. He says, I want you to see them as an opportunity for great joy. And that can be harder said than done. But that's what he wants. You get to verse 3 and it says, for you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. Faith is anything that you put your trust in. That can be a person. It can be a thing. It can be a circumstance. And James says, whatever you put your trust in, when that thing gets tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. Now, it's like when you go to the gym or you work out. You are destroying, you are tearing your muscles. And then they grow back stronger. It's the same principle. And so, when your faith is tested, when you go through hard times, it's a chance for joy because you can grow through it. You get to verse 4 and it says this, so let it grow. Let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Now that don't mean that you got it all together, okay? It just means that life isn't taking your knees out like it used to before. Then you get to verse 5 and it says this, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God and He will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. Now here's the thing, wisdom does not come quickly. Wisdom comes through experiences and lots of hurt and pain. You give me a person that's wise, and I will show you their scars. And God says, I want to give you wisdom, but you got to ask me for it. When you get to verse 6, James says this, but when you ask Him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Don't waver. For a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Everybody in this room, everybody that knows me, my kids will tell you, number 1 is God. Am I a faithful follower? Do I mess up? Yes. Number 2 is my wife. And I don't care who you are, whether a child, a family member, anybody, my loyalty is to her. That's the way y'all should be, right? Nobody. It's God and then my wife. So right there, if you are not loyal to anything in life, much less God and your relationship, you're going to be blown and tossed by the wind. So real quickly this morning, I want to tell you 3 things that it means that when you put your faith in God, what that means. The first thing is this. God can still work through your poor decisions. Every single one of y'all. When I started, asked if y'all made dumb decisions. Y'all all said you did. I bet if I asked, have you made multiple dumb decisions in your life, what would you say? Yeah. God can still work through poor decisions, okay? Most preachers won't tell you that. God can and still does work through poor decisions. And that should be freeing for every single one of you in this room. We go through our lives thinking, if I get it wrong, God's going to punish me. How many of y'all remember that board game Operation? Y'all remember that game? And y'all ever play that game? It's a board game. Huh? You did, Teddy? As big as your fingers are, how'd you hold them tweezers? That board game, you know, there's a naked man laying on it. And he's got all these little holes where you put a bone or you put a heart. And you got these tiny little metal tweezers, and you got to have a real steady hand. If those tweezers hit the side of that opening, it makes a loud what? His nose lights up. And you feel like a failure. I think we feel a lot like that in life. So it's like, should I date that person? Well, I don't know. Should it be this one or that one? I don't know. You pick this one, and you're going to find out a few years down the road the hard way. It's going to be, burn. You're going to learn the hard way. Wrong one. Oh, you graduate high school. Should I go to this college or that college? And you pick this one. Burn. Chose the wrong one. I might have ruined my life. And we go through life like this. And I just want y'all to know, most of the time in life, it's not black and white, okay? Have y'all realized that? You know what I mean? Life is not black and white, okay? As much as we want it to be that way, your decisions and choices in life most of the time are not that simple. And these are the times that we've got to remember that God works through our failures. And so maybe there's somebody in this room, you need to let yourself off the hook a little bit, all right, and just breathe. God can and will work through whatever decision that you end up making, because God isn't concerned about making your circumstances work out for you in the picture-perfect way. That's not what He's worried about. We're worried about having the picture-perfect family and putting this front out there. And we strive to do that. God is not concerned with us having a perfect picture life. What God is doing through these bad decisions and the good ones is He's trying to develop our hearts and our character. Which, by the way, as a man in this church told me Thursday, that requires lots and lots of bad decisions made in life. You know, it looked like they were blowing their lives up, but God said, watch what I'm going to do. And He works through their mess-ups and their sins and their failures. Look at the biblical people. Joseph was arrogant. Rahab was a prostitute. Moses lost his temper. David slept, the man after God's own heart, David slept with another man's wife and then had him killed. So the bad decisions, God can still work through them. Even if you, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, even if you've gotten into too much debt in your life, it's not too late. God can still work through that. Even if the choices that you made have hurt somebody else, God can still work through that. You are not defined by your failures. Even if you've lost your temper, God ain't counted you out. And you shouldn't either. Your value, get this, your value as a human being is not connected to your ability to make the right decision 100% of the time. It's not. God loves you. And if you find yourself at rock bottom, that is a great place to find some solid ground underneath your feet. Number two, if you wait until you feel ready, you ain't never going to be ready. You're always going to be waiting. And I know some of y'all hate to hear that because you're perfectionists. And you want all the information, and you want all the info before you make a decision or a choice. When you're facing a critical decision, it's easy to start overthinking. The reality is, you are not going to have 100% certainty on anything in life. But walking by faith is saying this: I don't have all the info, but God, I'm going to trust you. Right now, I just want you to think about you and your own life. What is God asking you to do? Right now, what is God asking you to do, but indecision has paralyzed you? Let me just encourage you to stop overanalyzing and just act. Do something. If it doesn't work out, that's great. It does not mean that you chose wrong. It just means that God has another plan. So maybe today, one of the most spiritual things that you can do is when you leave this building, you go home and you make that phone call. Or you write that letter. or you fill out that application, or you take that job, or you invest in the friendship, or you ask her out, for crying out loud. I mean, she's been waiting for you, okay? But make the decision. Do something that scares you to death and requires faith. Do something so big that if God wasn't in it, it would crash and burn. And the last thing is this. When you know who you are, it brings clarity. I did it again, gentlemen.
Get back. You can do it. There you go.
When you know who you are, then it brings clarity to your decisions. You know, it all boils down to a question of identity. So instead of saying, what am I going to do? Start with this. Who am I going to be? And when you know who you are, it will bring clarity to every choice and every decision that you got to make. You see, because of what Jesus did for you on that cross, He said that you are worthy. He said that you are valuable. And He said that you've got an identity. And because of what Jesus did for us on that cross, we can walk boldly into the presence of God, and we can have 100% confidence. As we close, the girls come up here on the stage. Well, let's just say that you come to my house for the Super Bowl. You don't ring the doorbell, you just walk right in. You walk right past me on the couch, you go to my refrigerator, open it up, grab something to eat, come sit down on the couch beside me, grab the remote out of my hand and turn it up. We're going to have a problem, okay? You're walking in with way too much boldness and too much confidence that I did not give you. However, my 5 kids, unfortunately, they ain't got to ring the doorbell. They don't got to say, Dad, I'm hungry. Can I get something out of the refrigerator? They don't got to say, is that seat on the couch taken because I want to sit down? They don't got to ask for the remote. Why? They have an identity, don't they? They're my kids. And so they can come boldly and they can come confidently. In fact, one of the things that I've had to learn as a dad is to not make decisions for my kids. I want to. How about any of y'all? I want to. I need to, because I got experience. They ain't. But I can't. When they got a choice or a decision, when they come to a fork in the road, and they're trying to decide what to do, I want to say, open your eyes. Can't you see? Here's what you should do. Greg Shelton's pretty wise, and he don't get the credit he gets, but he made a comment a while ago. Actually, I'm not even going to go there, but you're wise.
Yeah, we need the evidence.
Now, as a parent, what I got to do, I got to step back and let you fall. Let you bust your knee, even bust your head wide open. And I got to say, whatever you choose, I'll be here for you when you fall. I got your back. And I'm going to hope that you grow through whichever road you go down. Dads, y'all know the feeling? In the same way, God ain't going to swoop down like a magic 8-ball and give you the answer that you need or want. He's not going to lay out all your circumstances plainly, because it's as you go through the difficult times, that's when you grow. But here is the thing that you can fall back on every single day. You are God's kid. And because of that, you can come boldly and confidently to your Heavenly Father's feet. Well, how do you get to do that, though? All you got to do is respond to it. Jesus went to a cross to show you how much He loved you. And so for you, I cannot think of a better way to start a series on decision making than to give you an opportunity to make the best decision of your life. I want to ask y'all to make the one decision that really matters. And that's, if you're not a Christian, to give Him your life and to be baptized. Maybe you are a Christian. And through the different roads of your life, maybe you've fallen away. Maybe you need to rededicate your life. Well, there's an opportunity for you right now. Or maybe you want to join us here at this church and help us make a difference in the world around us. Whatever your decision is right now, the girls are going to come up and lead us in worship. We're going to all sing and we're going to worship the God that's able to take whatever choices we make, good or bad, and use them and grow us.